Hello and welcome to 3.1 day 3. We just finished up factoring practice, so we're going to actually solve by factoring. So we're going to use what's called the zero product property. The zero product property just says that if either A or B is zero and they're multiplied together, that has to be zero, which means one of the individual pieces has to be zero. What does all this mean? Well, let's factor first and then talk about that. So factoring, I want something that multiplies to my last number that adds to my middle number. So I need to find two numbers that multiply to give me 35, that add to give me 12. That would, of course, be 5 and 7. 5 times 7 is 35, and 5 plus 7 is 12. So this turns into x plus 5 and x plus 7. Now, the difference today is this whole thing equals 0. So, if I have two things that are being multiplied, this parenthetical and this parenthetical, and I know that they multiply together to equal 0, one of these parentheses has to equal 0. So all I'm going to do is set each of them equal to 0 themselves and solve. So I get x plus 5 equals 0 and x plus 7 equals 0. And then just solve them separately. Minus 5 minus 5, minus 7 minus 7. We get x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 7. So those are my two solutions there. On this next one, so one thing is I need to get 0 on one side first. So I would subtract 45 from both sides. So we get x squared minus 4x minus 45 equals 0. From there, what multiplies to this number adds to this number. So that would be negative 9 times 5 gives me negative 45, and negative 9 plus 5 gives me negative 4. So we get x minus 9, x plus 5. And then, like I said, the new step today, set both of those parentheses equal to 0. So x minus 9 equals 0, and x plus 5 equals 0. Plus 9, x equals 9, minus 5, x equals negative 5. Over here, we would minus the 2 first, because I want one side equal to 0. And we notice that my A term is not 1, so I have to do that factor by grouping that we did on Monday. So we get A times C. So 3 times negative 2 equals negative 6. So I need to find two numbers that multiply to negative 6 that add to negative 5. And that would be, of course, negative 6 and positive 1. Because negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 1 equals negative 5. So recall that, can I draw the line, please? When I do this, factor by grouping, I rewrite it with the first term staying the same, 3x squared, and the last term staying the same, negative 2. But my middle is split up with these two numbers we just found. So negative 6x plus 1x. Because in order to factor by grouping, you need four things. So group these together. What can I take out of 3x squared and negative 6x? Well, that would be 3x. 3x squared divided by 3x would be x. Negative 6x divided by 3x would be negative 2. And what would I divide x minus 2 by to give me exactly x minus 2? Well, that would just be 1. So my parentheses would be my matching pair, x minus 2, and my outside pair, 3x plus 1. But remember, the one extra step is now these things equal 0, so I would set both parentheses equal to 0 and solve. So minus 1, divide by 3, divide by 3. We get x equals negative 1/3 plus 2 plus 2. We get x equals 2. Okay. Find the zeros of the function. All this means is 0 goes for an f of x. Otherwise, everything else stays the same. So I get 0 equals 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. And this is just a factoring problem. I would multiply a times c. 2 times 12 equals 24. So I need what multiplies to 24 that adds to negative 11. That would be negative 3 and negative 8. So we get 0 equals 2x squared. I'm going to go minus 8x minus 3x plus 12. What can I take out of these two? That would be, of course, 2x, giving me x minus 4. What would I divide negative 3x plus 12 to give me exactly x minus 4? That would be negative 3. So we get x minus 4 because it's the matching parentheses, and we get 2x minus 3. So we can set both of those equal to 0 and solve. So plus 3, divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals 3 halves, plus 4, x equals 4. Quick side, quick aside, remember I've told you that the order doesn't matter. So if I did 2x squared minus 3x minus 8x plus 12, that's perfectly okay. What can I take out of those? Well, that would unfortunately be just x, leaving me with 2x minus 3. And what would I take out of these to give me exactly positive 2x minus 3? Well, I have a positive 12 and I have a negative 8x, so I'd actually take out negative 4, giving me 2x minus 3. So we would get the matching pair, 2x minus 3, and I get the outside pair, x minus 4. Hopefully you see that I get the exact same sets of parentheses, so the order doesn't matter. Okay, this one. Now this one is interesting. 0 here, I get 0 equals x squared minus 8x. You'll notice I have no c term. That's perfectly fine because I actually have two terms, which means I can technically factor by grouping here. Because to factor by grouping, you need an even number of things. So I can take an x out of both of those, leaving me with x minus 8. And then I can just set both of those equal to 0. I can add 8, add 8. So for this one, we would get x equals 0 and x equals 8. And then it's always nice to end on our favorite type of problem, of course, a story problem. You are making a rectangular quilt that is 5 feet by 4 feet. You use the remaining 10 square feet of fabric to add a border around it of uniform width to the quilt. What is the width of the border? Uniform width means it's all the same. As you can see, we've called it X. The length of this border in every direction is X. Now, you know that the original quilt is 5 feet by 4 feet. So this piece right here is 4, and this piece is 5. So that's why when I talk about the entire length of this, I'm talking about the 5 here I have in blue, and I'm talking about this x, and I also get x right here. So the entire length of that side now is 5 plus 2x. Following that exact same logic, this is 4, this is x, and this would be x. So that's why this entire length right here is 4 plus 2x. Now, what can I do with this? Well, I can use a trick using a matter of area. I know that I can find the area is right here, 4 times 5 equals 20 of the area just inside the quilt. I also know that I have 10 square feet of fabric more. So I know that my area total has to be the 20 plus the 10 I'm going to add for the border. So I know the total area has to be 30 feet squared. And that's the area for the big rectangle here. So I'm talking about that's the area for this rectangle right here. Well, we also know that area equals length times width. So we get 30 equals the new length, 5 plus 2x, and the new width of 4 plus 2x. And we can start by foiling. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2x would be 10x. 2x times 4 would be 8x. 2x times 2x would be 4x squared equals 30. We can combine like terms, so we get 4x squared plus 18x plus 20. However, we're probably going to have to solve this, which means I need one side equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. So we get 0 equals 4x squared plus 18x minus 10. We can divide everything by 2. 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. But my a term is still not 1, so I'm going to do a times c. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. So what multiplies to negative 10 that adds to positive 9? Well, that would be positive 10 and negative 1. So 10 times negative 1 is negative 10. 10 plus negative 1 equals 9. So we're going to get 0 equals that 2 out front, 2x squared plus 10x minus 5. We can factor by grouping, so I can take 2x out of this group, leave me with x plus 5. I want to end up with exactly x plus 5 here, so I'm going to take out a negative 1. So my parentheses are the x plus 5 and the 2x minus 1. But it's important to note that was just what was inside the parentheses. I still have this 2 out front. Now, zero product property, I'm going to set both of those equal to 0. So x plus 5 equals 0. 2x minus 1 equals 0. Plus 1, divide by 2, divide by 2. We get x equals 1/2. Minus 5, x equals negative 5. Now, unfortunately, this is a story problem, so let's think about what negative 5 means. Negative 5 would mean that this x length has a length of negative 5 feet, causing the blanket to collapse in and of itself. Obviously, that's not possible. You can't have a negative distance. So because this is a story problem, the negative 5 doesn't work out. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.